Hey everybody, so today I want to talk about Mars in Cancer. I have this placement at 27 degrees. 2 plus 7 equals 9. And so I am at the completion, wrapping up loose ends regarding having this placement, Mars in Cancer. So we're going to talk a little bit about having the natal placement and then what that may feel like in a transit. So this video needs a disclaimer or content warning because sexual abuse, actually abuse in general, and a slew of other problems are associated with Mars in Cancer. So please, if you're not ready to hear this, just click off. It's associated with slow and painful destruction, sadomasochism, passive-aggressive behavior, misplaced anger, rape and molestation, stunted sexual issues. When you have this placement, people will have negative things to say about how you handle confrontations and tense moments, and you may accidentally burn bridges that you don't need to. So that's really something to be aware of. So usually I'm a pretty good writer and a friendly communicator, but when there is something that needs to be said that's a bit controversial or needs, some care, I may have a friend proofread it to make sure that I don't ruin relationships unnecessarily, because I can be quite harsh, not so smooth when I need to defend myself. So this is a very deep topic, and we're going to start with basics. First of all, Cancer. What do we know about the word cancer in itself? It means crab. There also happens to be this disease named after the crab. Why? Because if you have a tumor, it's like the main body of the crab. Then you have the parts that infect the other parts of the body and start destroying the other organs and tissues. And these are like the crab legs. This is like when cancer goes into its metastatic state. I don't know if I said that correctly. I'm not a doctor, but yes, when the cancer spreads, it's like the crab legs. They go and invade parts that they don't belong, and they destroy their own ecosystem and eventually end up killing the body, unless, there's changes made to prevent that from happening. And so cancer occurs when there are changes in the DNA that cause it to do this overpopulation in this out of control way. Humans do something similar to that. We invade ecosystems that aren't ours, meaning we burn down rainforests and we pollute our oceans with plastic. And then we wonder why our food is toxic and all of this stuff. It's because we are not taking care of our own ecosystem. We overpopulate, and we haven't programmed ourselves to work with the earth. We're programmed to benefit capitalism, not to protect our species. And so now, yes, humans could be compared to a cancerous mass, but it doesn't have to be that way. If we reprogram ourselves and get back under control of our lives, then it's just normal cell growth and death, People are born and they die, and it's okay. And we're allowed to birth and die, okay? And one of the reasons I think that childbirth is such an intense process, including the before and after periods, it's because you have to really want this. You have to be able to put in the time for the child so that you can program them to be an effective person in the world, someone who knows how to protect themselves and provide for themselves and all of this stuff, yeah? Because if we don't have control over how our children are programmed, they're going to be programmed to destroy themselves. And that is a little bit of the story that has happened in our society. So, sorry, that was really heavy, okay? Cancer, the crab. Moving on to a lighter topic. The crab moves sideways or indirectly. They go with the flow of tides. They're on water and land. They have a hard exterior, soft interior, fast-moving, claws as weapons and for feeding. And the claws look pretty clunky on its body. It's not the most graceful appearing. Some species regrow their limbs and claws. They can survive in very violent environments full of predators, land, air, and sea. Imagine this. You're on the rocks of some ocean and you see all these crabs. You're a human. You're 10 times bigger than the thing. You can get pulled out to the ocean and not return, but yet you have these tiny little crabs that are there just surviving. So the Cancer can put up with some really harsh environments. And as a Mars in Cancer, I also have Venus in Cancer conjunct at 29 degrees. Anyway, as somebody who has some Cancer energy, I am able to take abuse and that kind of shit in the moment. It kind of just washes over me. But then later, the waves of rage return. And I might not be able to function 1 year later, That is kind of how this plays out. I don't have the ability to fight the waves as they're pounding down on me, but eventually it's going to come out in my body and break me down a little bit psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. So that's a little secret. If you know anybody with Mars in Cancer. And oftentimes Mars in Cancer people do experience abuse in childhood of many different kinds. So yes, not only are crabs prey, but they're also predators themselves, which makes them great for ecosystems because they take life and then they give life, meaning they die and they feed another organism. And so they're very useful for life if they're, operating normally. Now, the planet Mars is associated with confidence and self-assertion, aggression, sexuality, energy, strength, ambition, impulsiveness. Mars governs sports, competitions, and physical activities, sexual desire, courage, and passion, competition, action, aggression, and war. So if you are a witch or a powerful magic worker, you can actually give people cancer or any disease that slowly and painfully kills them. This is maybe not something I'm supposed to say, but that is one of the spiritual bullets. The sexual partner, you may choose someone who breaks you down physically. They may beat you, may want you to exercise more, not eat. They'll discourage body positivity. They'll probably set boundaries, borders, and limitations on you, and you'll kind of like it because it kind of feels like that hard shell or exoskeleton that you're used to. If they're not like that, then you may instead take on that role and become that person yourself. So Cancer is associated with the moon, water, mother, cardinality, nurturingness, being nurturing, and also boobs. So you will experience floods of emotions coming in and out on a daily basis, similar to tides, and it may be hard for you to control the emotional volatility, and it may lead to sensory-related mood disorders. I can tell you, I thought I was bipolar, autistic, all these things, because I would just have these breakdowns that were sort of unexplainable, except with astrology, okay? Because in astrology, we look at things a little bit differently. So also, you'll probably love boobs. You'll be extremely loving, affectionate, soft, and nurturing to those you love. It may take extra long to open up to someone completely and start treating them that way. The crab doesn't ever really take off its exoskeleton, but you can still feel that soft tissue, So they're pretty hard on the outside, but they're really melty and lovely on the inside. And it can be hard to get to that level with them. It may take time and whatever for them to really open up to you. And I think this is pretty normal for any human. So I don't think that's really a bad thing. And I think, a little bit of caution goes a long way in terms of sex, because sex is sacred and not everybody deserves your body. So yes, now let's talk a little bit more about sexuality. So I personally never or rarely feel anything sexual upon the first moments of meeting somebody. It takes a little bit of juiciness, meaning sitting, talking, making eye contact before it starts to become attractive to me. They have to make me feel a little bit special, or I'm not going to get super excited, to be honest. Sometimes I catch myself acting very cutesy or toddler-like, which normally I never do. And this, especially when I'm used to like a lover or partner. And this may say something weird about what may have happened to me when I was very young and disturbing, whatever. I did find out about weird sexual situations regarding coaches and things in my childhood, and just being around them. Also, they were later like thrown in jail for doing that to other people or something, but just having that, being around that kind of energy will do that. I was really scared of doctors. I thought they were going to rape me, but I didn't know what the word rape was, so I couldn't say that. And this was something that I felt like way before I could have known what it meant. So these molestations that happened when I was younger didn't bother me until later. It later came out, and then it comes back in waves of rage. I'm a professional dancer. I had to stop doing burlesque gigs for a while because I felt like I was encouraged and sometimes forced to be sexy for people since I was a child, and most of my jobs required sex appeal in my life. I personally don't have much sexual issues. I don't have issues with orgasms or drive or attracting lovers or even being taken seriously by people that I'm romantic with. I've never really had those issues, but I think people with Mars and Cancer can. But I have dealt with a lot of abuse, of physically, sexually, emotionally, and spiritually. So yeah, I don't really have any physical shortcomings other than maybe like boobs being a bit smaller than I'd like. But other than that, I don't really have issues. I know that some guys with Mars and Cancer have like erectile dysfunction or something like that. It's possible, but not all of them. So Venus is conjunct my Mars, like I said. And so I feel like that takes the edge off some of the intensity of having Mars in Cancer. They're also at very late degrees, and somehow I know that I'm pretty highly evolved with this sign, so I don't think I really have that sexual immaturity that comes with this placement typically. So okay, so yes, back to abuse. Yes, I have experienced domestic violence, intimate partner violence. I never really experienced coital rape. I don't know if you can say it like that, but all of my friends in university had that happen to them. I think I managed to avoid it partly due to having this exoskeleton Mars in Cancer, but also having Scorpio rising. I may have looked like the girl that was going to bring you to court. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry about this topic. I was also the oldest child of a Catholic family and a female. So my parents are fabulous, but unfortunately they did not teach me how to be a green flag in a relationship or how to spot one. They were great role models in so many ways. They're total humanitarians and I love them, but they did not model great relationship practices. Let's say it like that. And there was a lot of secrets and I don't know, just not a lot of honesty going on. So that made things a little bit weird and difficult. So I have experienced a lot of terror and violence in relationships across the board, across, friends and all of these things. And to this day, I still really struggle to manage my rage. And I feel like I've never really had or seen people modeling or handling rage well. It's just something that I'm working on and, going to therapy to try to manage. It's not the highest score of my emotional intelligence report card. So yes, now let's get into the competition, okay? So Mars also rules over competition. So as Mars in Cancer, it is really hard to fight for your spot on the podium. Things may come in waves. You may have like really successful time, then it may all go away and you feel like you're not making any progress. And sometimes you won't be because you just keep retreating. And so it's like, or, you come out on the rock, you eat, and then you slide back in and you lost the meal. And it's like, that was yours, but you're a Mars in Cancer, so you didn't get to collect what was yours. And it can be hard to fight for your spot on the podium. People, I find, don't like it when I take competition too seriously. So it's better for me to hold on to my identity and skills loosely so that I don't overkill myself or others with my obsessions. Remember, Cancer's a bit smothering, so you may just smother and extinguish your passion when you act that way, all competitive and obsessive. Other people will probably find that very annoying. I lost a couple of friends at a young age because I was too excited about winning something once. I remember. So better to just breathe and put all that energy into your practice, pulling from Capricorn, rather than always getting too amped up for the competition. You can be successful, but just go with the flow and accept your accolades as they're offered to you. Don't force too much because you're a Mars in Cancer. So yes, like I said, pull from the side of Capricorn, destroy your enemies with your work ethic, commitment, consistency, discipline, and diverse goals. You deserve a great working environment. 2, anger management. Research into rage and anger and learn how to control it a little bit better. Attend a support group. 3, ask a friend. Ask somebody to check your passionate or important replies before you send that text, email, or letter. 4, meditate using certain prompts. For example, ask your inner child what they can do to make her or him feel safe and protected. And then ask yourself now, what can I do to make myself feel more secure in my skin? Even if you're a confident person, sometimes it's very uncomfortable to be you. There's a difference. And so that's what I'm really getting at. This is stuff to meditate on. 5, take a break. Remember, it's okay to take breaks from things that burn you out or negatively affect your mental health. Mars in Cancer needs extra support to accomplish everyday interactions at times. And then 6, when there's a will, there's a way. It is normal and okay when the fighting is difficult and you don't want to fight anymore. Let the shitty seasons pass and pick up when you're ready again. It's not too late for you if you have options. So go do it. Whew. Oh my God, so intense. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. So, transiting Mars in Cancer. Themes having to do with abuse of all kinds, mental, spiritual, psychological, physical, whatever. Themes around anger management, having really difficult confrontations. Please be careful with your communication because we're going to communicate very emotionally out of our hurt and rage. Be protective of the young ones around you. Make sure that there's nobody dangerous around them. Make sure to meditate enough and avoid lashing out at people passive aggressively or misplacing anger. So let's say you've had an abandonment wound in your life. Somebody does something shitty to you and then you go to talk to them about it, and then all of this anger that you have towards everyone who abandoned you comes out at that person. So this is just stuff. Also, it's a really good time if you're in therapy to talk about any sexual abuse that could have occurred to you and to fix any sexual issues. You may experience some sexual incompetence, something like that. So, whew. I don't know what else to say. I feel wiped out after this conversation with myself, having Mars in Cancer. Oh, if you have this placement, like let's. I think I'm gonna make a support group. It's got to be the worst. No, Saturn in Aries is worse. I know that so many astrologers with Saturn in Aries too. A lot of my favorite fucked up astrologers have it. It's something. Oh, by the way, I am giving readings now. So if you would like a 30-minute reading for $30 or 30 euros, just email me at jennanicole@pm.me. The email is in the description. I will never message you on social media to give you a reading. So yeah, just send me an email and I will get back to you on that. I'm super excited to talk to you about astrology. Bye, and catch you again later.